I'm back! After so long, I'm releasing a new song. I'm Sycobox and I'm back with another video breaking down my new track, which should be out now, Invincible. Yeah, this track was a lot of fun to make. Very much a lot of experimentation with this track, and I really hope it came out, like, good. Alright, so let's start off with the intro, which starts right here. It might sound a little bit different because I do have smart disable on because I put way too much shit in my song and my CPU legit cannot handle it, even though it's a pretty powerful CPU, but we're just gonna live with it. Alright, I got the actual render up here, but I'll just show you. I'll break down this part after I play the render. So alright, we're gonna go over each part. The vocals. I can't sing for the life of me, so I did use Kara vocals in this, and I pitched it up in tune and also on beat. I kind of like rearranged a little bit. In the beginning, there's this chop, this vocal chop, which is actually no, it's a vocal chop that's also activating a patcher that just reverbs it out, because it's the same vocal chop used throughout the whole song, but like I activated like a patcher to make it more reverbed and like quieter in the beginning of the song. So if we go to the vocal drop channel, there is a patcher which is just hitting a ROM, because I love ROM. It's a good reverb plugin, and it's also hitting a kind of like a bandpass, but like really quiet. So it's like, and then without it, it's like. So it's like, it's softening it up for the intro. And then we have a little swoop, like a swoop into the vocals. And for the vocals, there's like a delay that activates, or delay input that activates whenever I want it to like actually like echo out. So I have like so the main vocals itself has an M.2 pitch, which is basically just what do you call that, an auto tune. Then we have an OTT, not very much, just very little, just to bring out some sounds I really wanted it to come out. A noise gate, because there was a little bit of this white noise in the background that I really did not want to hear. There's some camel crusher, which is not really distorting anything. It's more like bringing up the volume using a preset that I really like called British Clean. You're gonna see that a lot through this video. I use that preset way too much. And a neutron 3 elements, because I kind of wanted this to be more specific, like more on point than a regular EQ, because neutron has like a method. It has this thing called track assistant, where it kind of detects volume and or detects a sound, and it will like, based on that sound, it will change it. And I adjusted it after it was done, so it's not fully the thing. And then there's like a compressor on it, and an exciter, which is technically just another distortion, but like a little bit more harsh, I would say. And then there's this thing called vocal limiter by WA Productions, which was free for a while, so I was like, okay, sure, I'll try it out. But it basically just like, it's again just bringing out that volume and like making it sound powerful. And then on top of that, there's a limiter, which is combining all these vocal layers, which I'll go over next. Limiter, a reverb, a delay, a reverb, and a D-Blue glitch, which is, I don't think I ever used this, but I used it originally, but I got rid of it. I think this activates later on the song, but I'm not too sure. I don't think this actually activates. I don't remember why I put that there, but maybe I'll remember. And then another limiter to make sure it doesn't clip again. Right, so the layers we have are widen layer, which is just really stereo with vocal layers, which are like and it's mainly getting this like unison type sound through this one plugin called Magic Switch, which is a chorus effect. So it's chorusing and it's going through this thing called Widener by Infected Mushroom, which just increases the stereo width. Kind of separates it more, like it doesn't increase it, but it separates the two sounds, so it only comes through the right channel or the left channel. And it kind of cuts out the midsection because I wanted the actual vocals to hit the midsection. And yeah, so if you have them all together, and also I forgot to mention one more thing, there's actually a Vocodex layer that is on this. Yeah, and it follows the same chords that the chord stacks are following. All right, that's for the vocals. Let's go over the actual intro. So for the first part, we have this beautiful piano and this Reese together. So the piano is like. One thing you should know about me is that I actually have no clue how to play piano. I'm a drum set player, so I kind of like manually moved all of these little like all these notes to make them look like they were like realistically played, and I use this thing called Alt R, which randomizes the tones randomizes the velocities, and then for the little melody on top is like I lower the velocity specifically for these ones, so we have the chords and then like the melody that's playing on top. I was using a lot of this C to C sharp, D sharp to F kind of thing, so it's like resolving at the end instead of starting from the beginning. And at this final part, it goes back down, it goes back to C, and then it comes back to C sharp, or it comes back to C, sorry, and then goes back to C sharp. For the piano, there's an OTT, depth turn down, saturation, a neutron 3 elements, which is using this preset that I really like called dark keys, but then I made a low cut on it and lowered the amount of distortion. A sound grenadizer, which very little, it's barely doing anything, and I don't know. A solid bus comp, which is just kind of like a compressor. It can be used as a glue compressor as well, but I don't even know why I put that, but I did it. And then a limiter. And then finally, a balance, a fruity balance, which I think is just increasing the volume at the end. A delay, which I turned off because it was like making some weird issues. And then a reverb, because reverb. And then there's a Reese under it, which is really easy to make. I'll just show you. It's just like one saw wave that's like detuned with 16 unison, and the detune is turned down. Another saw wave, which is just pitched up in a whole octave and 7 semitones up. And finally on the top, there's a filter, which is just making sure it's like a low sound. And then there's a sub. This is like one of the only times that I actually kept the sub on a patch itself. And then there's a hyper dimension, which is increasing the stereo width of the Reese itself, but not the sub. Some distortion, which is just kind of like bringing up that power a little bit. A compression, or another OTT, if I like to say it. And then finally there's another filter on the bottom to cut out those frequencies I don't really like, or like the top frequencies. And then on top of that, there's another OTT, a camel crusher, and then an EQ with like a high cut, and a little bit of a low boost, so it has more of a sub sound. Then a little bit more distortion at the end, and then finally this patcher preset, which just stereodizes the top end of the mix, but then monos the rest. So it monos out so there's a frequency splitter here, which is having the sub right here, and then the rest of the sound right there. So it's making this part wide and making this part hella mono, so that it keeps the it makes sure that phase cancellation doesn't happen. Alright, and then after that we have this little flute that's actually playing in the background, but you can kind of hear it. And this is just a BBC synth orchestra, which is like this really, really nice free set of sounds, or set of like orchestral sounds. Like they have this whole section. Yeah, they have like their horns, violins, blah blah blah. And I just took one. I think it was a. Well, I'm not sure if it was a flute. Yeah, it's a flute. Sorry, no, it's a piccolo. It's not a piccolo. It's a flute, which is just playing that. And on top of that, of course, there's an OTT, but the depth is turned down. Because I don't want it to like mess the sound really. It has a very harsh low cut because I don't want any of those lows because there was like this like wind noise that I really did not want. Some fin micro, which is like making this crystallized kind of effect. Yeah, you can hear that a little bit. And then a ROM, which is again reverbing the absolute shit out of everything. And then finally there's a EQ cutting out the highs and cutting out the lows, creating that atmospheric effect. And then next we're gonna go over there's like a pad and stuff in the background. There's a little atmospheric effects. So this pad, where is this pad? This pad, I actually made another session, and all I did was add like this little like resonance peak in the middle that I really wanted to have like like accentuated in a way, to make it so that it's more like emotional. And then there's a reverb, which is just reverbing the sound so it connects with each other. And then there's this really nice atmospheres. Two of them are from the Life Pack, which is free by Cymatics, and a clock ticking noise, which is just going, which if it turns on, tick tock like that. And then there's this little, like there's a rain which is going, and also like a little stream. I don't know. I like water. Water is good for you. You should drink water. Drink water. And also, there's this little wind chime which is like cut out, but it's like it's actually hitting on key, which is like a little bit, but it's there. I'm pretty sure I auto-tuned it so that it worked. Did I? I don't remember. No, I didn't. Okay, never mind. I did not auto-tune it. Yeah, I didn't auto-tune it. And there's just reverb and a dimension expander in this one, which is kind of like a width expander in a way. And then we have this little like fake keys. I would say like a pad. And this is from Labs, which is like a really nice another thing by Spitfire, which is free. You should get it. And I'm using this preset called Whirly Heaven, and I'm pretty sure on top there's a crystallizer, I think. Yeah, there's a fin micro and this oracle thing which is also a reverb by Soundspot, but I made it so that it makes it really wide because I really wanted it to fill out that stereo field. And then there's an OTT which I think this has like really low depth, yeah, and then a high cut and a low cut. And it gets like this really beautiful, and it's just playing exactly what the piano plays. And then we have this for the impact. We have this little impact from Virtual Riot, which is which has like this really harsh low cut and really harsh high cut, because I didn't really want the top noise because like this, it was too hard, so I just, yeah, there we go. And then there's this little, it's quiet, not really there. You can't really, it's like slightly there in the actual song. If I play it, yeah, it cuts out later. Then there is a plucky thingy that actually goes, it pushes into the next part of the song. If I can find it, I don't even know where it is. Right here. And then on top of that, this part is really cool. So there's a frequency shifter which is which is on half mix on the sidechain channel. So right here there's a frequency shifter and it's on half mix, and it turns up eventually. And there's a fruity balance which is used for the actual sidechain, but I also turned it down, I think, a little bit to give actuation to the next part. there is a very like slight high cut which is coming in. It actually it's not really there, but when it actually turns on, it becomes like really loud. So we have everything right here. It creates that phaser effect, which is really cool. And there's also this stereo enhancer, which is turning off, so making it more mono. Is making it more mono so that it gives like the stereo width for the next part. And then for the chord stacks, if it's even gonna let me play. Oh yeah, also there's like these risers. This one I made in a separate session, which is just I use this a lot in my songs. I use it a lot in Submergence as well. Here we have this little white noise, another white noise, another white noise. Pretty self-explanatory. And then there's like a crash symbol on top, I'm pretty sure as well. Yeah, pretty self-explanatory for that. Yeah, let's go into the actual chord stacks, the thicko chord stacks. We have this saw layer, which is alright, so we have we first have this literally just a saw wave with some OTT, a wave shaper, camel crusher, using the same British clean preset, a chorus. I'm creating a little bit more stereo width, even though I kind of wanted this to be mono, but it's like not a lot, and the depth is turned on a little bit as well. A sound grenadizer, just bringing out more of this like mid area that I really wanted. A high cut, and then this thing called a nebula, which is doing this chorus effect as well, which is not very harsh. And then there's this little regular detuned saw wave, very wide. We have an OTT, a camel crusher hitting the same British clean preset, a magic switch, which is a chorus. Again, I think I went over that. Another sound grenadizer, but this time on a Maximus because I wanted to make some changes. An EQ cutting out this weird mid area that I didn't really want, and I wanted the other saw to hit, hitting a low cut and a little bit of a high boost. And then finally a wave shaper, just gluing that sound together and making it more powerful. And then for the next part, there's a white noise, literally just white noise with an OTT and a very harsh high cut. Low cut. And then on top of all of this, there's an EQ, an ozone imager, which is bringing out the stereo width, a Maximus, which is I think is just bringing out the volume a little bit as well, and then a fruity delay, which is a delay, a reverb, and finally another EQ, which is used to make some like effects later on the song, basically filters. And then we have the bass, which is actually pretty sick. I'll show you guys. So first we have this little saw. I think it's just a saw wave with some sound, with some white noise. Yeah, it's literally just a saw wave and white noise being distorted together, and with a little bit of hyperdimension and a compression on the actual patch. And then when we go into the post effects, there's an OTT, a camel crusher, hitting that same British clean preset. I love that preset too much. And then a chorus, not a lot, but some. And then finally a low cut. Then we have this little like weird ya bass. I don't even know why I added this, but it creates more powerfulness. It's a Reese Mess wavetable that's like, which is like hitting this weird choo noise using this little LFO, and it's also having this filter of a flange filter on it. And then there's a distortion, a hyperdimension, a phaser, which is just hitting, I think only like one part, and there's no rate, a chorus, and a compression, which is OTT. And then for the post effects, there's another OTT, camel crusher hitting that same British clean preset, a sound grenadizer, and a very harsh high cut. Oh, also not to forget, there is a sub layer. Yes, sub. Don't forget it. Yeah, the sub. Sub right here. Sub layer, baby. Thick sub. If it's gonna activate. There we go. Nice thick sub, bro. Yes. And then you might not be able to hear this if you're on phone speakers, but the sub has a saturation. Very slight. Camel Crusher with the British Clean preset. And then a high cut. And then another EQ that's used for filtering later on in the song. I think that's it. And then right here, I brought back the flute as well. And then also I forgot to go over this. There's this little plucky thingy, which I actually have no clue what it is. What is this? Intro. Oh, it's an isotope iris, which is very, very nice plugin that I got for $10 on Plugin Boutique because they always have sales there. And it's this one key called Chronology, and on top of it there is an OTT, an all pass phase, a low cut, and then a little bit of a high cut, a delay, a fin micro, again hitting that crystallizer thingy, and a ROM, which is ROM. So that's that little bell thingy, and that's also playing out through here. And right here I also had this weird like bleep bloop noise, which is just literally just a square wave. Yeah, it's some all pass phase, some low frequency cut, and a ROM. Yeah, that's literally that. And next there's this little like it only hits once, it's just one. And it plays with the song. But the jumps to the chord stacks, we have a cymbal, some hi-hats for the let's go for the cymbals first. The cymbal transition I told you before. Yeah, that brings us to the build-up. And then we have the actual kick and snare, which is a silent kick. Which is just... it's also used later. There's some OTT on it, some saturation, a glue compressor, and then finally a little bit of like an EQing. I don't even know what this EQing is, but it worked, so I'll call it a day. And then there's the snare, which is just another silent snare, and it's really like high-pitched. And it has the same snare like mixing as the rest of the song, so it's just a solid bus comp, a wave shaper, OTT, and then another weird EQ. And then also there's like this downlifter and uplifters right here that are just going right. If I turn them on, yeah, so these there's these downlifters and uplifters, which is going. And that brings us to the build-up, which goes like this. Let me scroll all the way up. That's the build-up. It's very powerful and nice. I very much like this build-up. It's very clean. Yeah, for our first part, we have this little impact, which is a reversed one of it and another one that's just hitting the regular sound. There's a bunch of risers. Let me show you all these effects first. Crap ton of effects. Why? I don't know. I just wanted a lot of effects. So first we have this clap layer, just playing this behind the whole part. It's just one clap layer, just going like that. And then, oh, there's also like a fill here. I don't know where it is. Let me find it. Right here. I don't know why it's there. Yeah, and it goes to the drop. All right. Yeah, that's the build up essentially for the drums, and then we're gonna go over the actual sound. The actual sound is just a rendered out version of the drop, which I'll show you later in a few minutes. And it like has like this little like EQing, so it's just gonna. And then it goes to the drop after that. And then for the background elements, we have this ARP that's been going on for the whole part, even throughout the chord stacks. And then for the chord stacks, there was also this background atmosphere. Yeah, so that's like the background, and then we have the little vocals still going. We'll take on the world. We'll take on the world. We'll take on the world. And also, on top of all of this like stuff, there are actually master effects which are affecting the master itself. That is a stereo enhancer which is turning down. A stereo enhancer that's turning down or turning more mono. This little thing called FP Hype, which is just like a patcher version of Endless Smile. We have this balance, this fruity balance, which is just lowering the volume when like the actual stuff start coming in. And to combat that, the vocals are actually getting louder, so that it pops out more from the rest of the mix. And then it all stops once this little stops all there. Oh yeah, the Reese is there as well, just playing one note, and it hits that. Yeah, it is that sub hit right here. Yeah, and then now we have the drop. Yes, finally we're getting to the drop. Okay, let me show you the drop real quick. The chord stacks, the same chord stacks as before, but except there's this lead on top, so there's this little the lead as well. So that lead thingy that you're hearing is very interesting, actually. All right, so the actual patch is pretty simple if I try to explain it. It's right here. This is the thing I really experimented with, and it was like the highlight of the song. It's this little saw wave getting FM'd to another saw wave, which is having this bend plus thing. And then it increases more as this LFO is like it's like an envelope. It's actually an envelope, but like as this envelope opens up, so I'll have this like that. There's another square wave that's really quiet, which I'll show you later what it does. And then there's this lot of distortion. Let me turn off all the effects and to show you how shit this sounds without all the effects. It sounds terrible. And then it's going through a hyperdimension, a phaser, a chorus, an EQ, which is cutting out lows, and a compressor. And about the distortion, there's this little like peak, which is increasing this like really harsh resonance, but is also getting distorted, so it creates this really cool like overtone. And then yeah, so the square wave, about that, without it, with it, it brings out that oomph to it, right? And then we have all the effects. We have 3 OTTs, a camel crusher with the same British fucking clean preset, with a little bit of tube distortion, an all pass phase, a comb filter, which is getting most of its sound. I love comb filters. I'll show you next. All my new songs have comb filters, at least the ones I'm working on. This is my highlight of my day. I love this plugin. It is very good. and it's free. A saturation knob, which is I think is doing very little. An EQ, which looks really whack when you look at it like this, but trust me, it will fix itself. And a chorus, which is just stereo widening it, and then an extra stereo width, because I was kind of like too stereo, and I had to stereo it down or mono it down. What the fuck is stereo? Okay, never mind. And then a limiter, which is getting it's kind of working like a compressor, and it's like it's bringing out the volume of the sound, but compressing the absolute shit out of it as well. So it's creating this like powerfulness, and it also has this reverb, automated. Oh yeah, also the overtone or the undertone of the undertone of the comb filter is actually changing. To fit with the actual bass of the song, and then the bass, bro. This stuff is kind of cool. Okay, let's go over the bass. Yeah, there's a lot of layers. Let me show you. So so basically this is a little layer right here. This is going. I made all of these samples in other sessions, so there's like this other growly layer, and then this little like pew pew noise, which actually has this. Yeah, it needs that. And then there's this plucky noise. And then under all of that, for the last part where it goes dun 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 dun, it has this sustain that's going like that. It's cool. Oh yeah, so let's go over the first main bass, and we'll I don't think I'm gonna cover these layers because they're all made in a separate session. But essentially all you have to know is that there's this weird pew pew layer, this weird color thingy, and then some growly layers. And then for the pew pew layer, there's like a resonant there's a resonator on it, changing the pitch of it so it sounds right. Okay, the actual bass. Let's go over the actual bass first, and we'll go over the Vocodex layer. So we have this little. I think this is 3 patches. But they're all really close to each other, so I'll go over like the main one. Or the main 2. So we have this little like this really annoying tew noise, but then it fits really well with the song. It's this weird malfunction, which is I think is just a bass from Virtual Riot, and I turned it into a wavetable, and then it's getting FM'd to another oscillator, 2 octaves above, and again with the bend plus. A sub, which is getting cut out, but it just brings out harmonics that I want. A high pass filter, or high pass filter with peak, which is making this yo noise. A hyperdimension, a distortion, a flanger, a chorus, and a compressor. The usual stuff. And then for the other patch, it's the same exact thing, except it does not have an FM, and it's using a bend plus, making this growly noise. Yeah, and then we have for the actual like effects, we have 2 OTTs, a comb filter, which again I've been using a lot lately, and I really like this tone that it gives. British clean. A magic filter, or magic switch. Yeah, a low cut with like some cuts over here, and then a cut right here because it was really peaking there. A delay, which I think is a tonal delay, or is it? Oh no, it's a stereo delay. It's a delay that's being used as stereo, kind of like a chorus in a sense. It has one hit, and it's just going. da 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 da, but like very very slightly off and with more like width to it, so it's like a pre-delay. Another fucking sound goodizer, but there's a little bit change here where I kind of lowered the sub of the actual sound because I didn't want it to come out there because there's a separate sub. And finally there's a reverb that's barely on and it's like very little decay to give more room to it. And also there's another yeah, there's on top of all of that there's a compressor, or sorry, a dynamic EQ which is cutting some highs, another one of these little thingies cutting out little EQs cutting out harsh frequencies around 3000 hertz, and then another one cutting around 740 or 7040 hertz, and then there's a limiter and a reverb which is getting automated. And then for the Vocodex, as you guys seen I'm pretty sure if you're watching this video, you have seen my color-based tutorial, which I probably will revamp later because I found a lot of like major flaws in it that need to be fixed. But anyways, yeah, it's the same method I'm using where I have a modulator which is going into a Vocodex and a carrier that's also going to a Vocodex, with the modulator modulating the core, same thing, but this time I put a comb filter. Yeah, another one of this, like without it. Let me turn off the bass because I don't want that. Okay, without it sounds, I would say, not powerful enough. And then the comb filter, it brings out more of the fundamental. And then there's a magic switch which is using as chorus, a widener, a low cut, and then a reverb. Yeah, that is pretty much the Vocodex. Yeah, and then the rest is all, I'm pretty sure, the same from my tutorial, which I have, except at this time I'm putting an all pass phase to make it like pew pew. Yeah, so next thing, we're going to show you, I don't think I'm gonna show you the sub. It's like a regular sub, but like with the white noise and distorted and like some cut and stuff. I'm not gonna really go over that. I don't feel like going over that. Background elements, they're pretty much the same. There's a pad, this little really high pitch annoying voice thingy, and then this. I used this stupid patch or this stupid loop on every song I've made since freaking Submergence, dude. And then we have that ARP back again. Yeah, ARP moment. The sustain. Let's go over the sustain. This is after when you hit the dun dun dun. Actually, no, let's go over the growl first. Growl part. Growly boy. Growly boy. Yeah. Yeah, this shit is crazy. I don't even know what I did, but it's really cool. Yeah, I actually don't know how to explain this, but the patch itself is pretty weak. But it's getting most of the sound from here. A lot of its yoy noise is coming from this high pass with notch filter. I love this filter. And has this pitching on it, and it has like, I think this is automating the FM of the volume of the actual noise, the volume of the actual oscillator A, the volume of the sub, volume of the hyperdimension, the mix of the hyperdimension, the mix of the chorus, and it's also increasing more on this flange filter that is also there. Yeah, that's the base patch itself, and then we're adding an OTT, first OTT, which is just kind of bringing out volume. We have a Vocodex, which I don't think is doing much. It's just actually adding extra texture to it. A comb filter. Doing the same but like with comb filtering, another OTT, bringing out that more noise, I guess. A saturation, which is pretty harsh. Camel Crusher with the fucking British clean. Oh yeah, actually no, there's a lot more shit that's on this. Like, I just increased the mech distortion and the tube distortion like crazy to make this powerful shit. And there's a widener, like very little. Increasing stereo width. A cut on the sub, because I wanted to have a separate sub. And also cutting this weird like frequency right here. A little bit of the highs because it's a little bit too harsh. And then another, I think this was a tonal delay. No, it's another one of these stereo delays. Increasing the stereo. Yeah, that's the growl. So beautiful. I love that growl. There's also the vocal chops again, which is using OTT, Camel Crusher, saturation, Camel Crusher again. There's one a high gain thingy, which is like the weird like low pass distortion thingy. British clean again. Love that preset. Low cut with some little bit of a high cut. A limiter. Then the patcher, which is off, which I used before. A delay and a reverb. Yeah, that's the thingy. And then for the bass, the actual like bum 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 bum, it has the same sounds as before, but it also has this thing on the bottom which is going, which is 2 layers. There's one really like, it sounds like a school bell in a way. And then we also have this, which is, this is really simple. I just put an OTT in a Camel Crusher and a thing because I was too lazy. And this one is also pretty much the same thing. I was too lazy. Then the same chord stack again. Also like for the second hit, for that, no, I added this weird on top of the filter of the lead. Yeah, and the lead effects are just OTT, saturation, Camel Crusher hitting the same British clean preset, all pass phase, a low pass, this filter, this compressor, this delay, and a reverb. It has a switch right here. Okay, it has this really annoying metallic pluck that I use later, and I just want it to be there. And it has the same growl again. Yeah, there's that, and there's also this little thing on top which is going. This is a little weird. Kind of like the bass from Malfunction or also the bass from Recall. I think I use the same method. And then also there's a weird, like, I think FM kind of bass thingy. Just going. And if you could hear the sound, you'll probably hear it in Submergence as well. And then the switch. I use the same one from Submergence. I made that. Maybe I'll put it in this description if you guys want it. I am a good voice actor. I'm just kidding. There's the crash. And then also, I forgot to go over this. Crap. The EU click thing is back. Yes, I used that in Submergence as well. The annoying clicky thingy on top to great increase high gain. I learned that from Skybreak. I probably should add more percussion next time I make a song, but it's fine. That's hitting that. Yeah, and then I think that's literally the whole, like, the I don't feel like going over that because it's like not really part of the song, but it's there. It's the thing. It's a thing. And then for that it has this little, and there's also, and then there's also this and then finally the Boing Woo. I made that in another session. I love making these growls, they're way too fun. Maybe I'll do a tutorial on this, but then again, I literally just copied off of Barely Alive's tutorial, so watch that instead. I will link that in the description. You guys watch that, and then you come back to me and you say, cool, I learned how to make Bawi Grace. Okay? Cool, thanks. Alright, oh, I forgot for the dun, dun, I also had this weird like chord thingy, which is kind of inspired by Waterfall. Just in the background to increase the dun, dun. Sorry, Skybreak. I had to use it. I'm sorry, bro. I'm so sorry. I know. I'm sorry. My bad. I probably shouldn't have used it, but it's okay. And for the little like break right here, there's this little plucky thingy, which I probably won't be able to play with my CPU. So I'm going to play the one that was on the rendered version. So we have this. Yeah, and then for there, right, there's a snare that's being automated in through audio, through a volume, and the final hit has this tail from Enum that he sent to me and he let me use. So I was like, okay, cool. Just a little tail. Yeah, you should follow Enum. Enum's great. I'm not sure if that's okay, but I'm pretty sure he said that was fine, so I will take that. Also, I affected it like crazy, so I don't think it's the same as it. Well, actually, never mind. It's just a reverb, but yeah, we're not gonna talk about that. Okay, thank you. All right. We have the symbol, which is just a symbol. The plucks right here. Has an increasing like ROM value, and then some things affecting the actual like pluck length. It's the same chords as before, but with like a filter on it. Yeah, and there's also this thing playing the next part, which hits into the trap part. Oh, for the drums, right? I forgot to go over drums. Okay, wait. Drums. Regular kick clap, usual regular kick clap. The clap sample is a chimes clap with a pre-ship from Kashmir. Yeah, so I just made a little bit of changes in the EQ, and there's another reverb on top to increase a little bit more room. And then this is weird background clap. I don't even know why I added this. You barely hear it. It's just this weird da-da-da. Yeah, the kick is from a pack called Demonite Rhythm something. I forgot the name. It's like Demonite something. Demonite the Rhythm Master Collection. It's also a good pack. I got it for $30. It was nice. So I put some effects on it, which Enum actually suggested to me. Yeah, so there's this solid bus comp, which is again like a glue compressor in a way. Making it hit harder, and then there's like this a lot of like makeup gain, which is then going into an EQ, cutting out this weird like mid area, because without it, it's like, and then with it, it's just cutting out that weird mid area that I don't want. I didn't like that, so I got rid of it. And then some a little bit more low, and then he told me to put it under all of it under a soft clipper, which it's just fucking up the sound and making it powerful. And then with the clap, it has this nice transient. Yeah, and then for the hats and stuff, I've used this hi-hat way too much. It's also from the Demonite Rhythm collection, and you'll probably hear it somewhere. It has some volume turned down, and then they also had this lead, which is panning left and right. Which is also from the it's from the Virtual Riot sample pack. Never mind. And I also have this hi-hat loop because I was too lazy to make more hi-hats. And then yeah, that's the cymbals, and then there's the cymbal transitions and stuff on the bottom. The trap part. Yeah, I love this part. It is heavily inspired by Virtual Riot. Yeah, for the chops. The chops are still here. And they change later as well. The The lead thing is back, but it's a little bit different on this one. I think this one has less comb filtering, or it doesn't have comb filtering at all. It's also a lot more quiet. It's also way more distorted. Yeah, and it has like this. And the 808 is just literally just the same sub, but like I let the mids come out more to get that. Yeah. We also have more stuff I made in another filter. I hate that so much. It just works as like a filler. I hate that noise. Isn't this weird? And then this weird like. And then there's also this. And they're all getting like slowly, gradually into the song. And then we have the sustain again, but like it's just going up for the whole part. Yeah, and then we have this color yoink, which is this. So the actual sound without all of the effects is just this. Yeah, it's just this. Really stupid sound. I hate that sound so much. Then it gradually throughout the like for the first part. Yeah, it changes. So on it there's a convolver, which is hitting this chord right here. And an OTT, a camel crusher, a comb filter again, a high pass. Yeah, high pass with a like a boost around the mids, a frequency shifter that only happens in the beginning, a reverb, and then a delay. So it has this cool. In this part, it gets gradually more. It increases the feedback more. Then we have this like the annoying metallic pluck thing again, but it's in the background. It has this weird and like but it also has a vocodex layer on it as well. Not very loud. It's kind of just there in the background. Most of the sound comes from the 808. Also, there's the chord stacks as well. And then finally, for the second part, for the drums in the first part actually, we have this really high and short pop snare, I would like to say. It's this Jack U snare. And also this. The Jack U snare is going through a comb filter to hit it on the right note. Some wave shaping, some OTT, and a reverb. And the snare itself is just OTT and wave shaping. It's really simple. And the kick is the same. Silent kick is less powerful than the first kick. And then it goes into the cool part where I added a pan snare because I felt like adding a pan snare. Yeah, the snare is the silent snare as well. It's going through that same chain that I told you guys before. And then there's the same tail, and then also that's just part of a mode step snare. I took off the body and I just made it the tail. There was an OTT, a resonator hitting C3, which is like a high C. Cutting some low mids and boosting some highs. Low cutting everything. And then the reverb. And there's also this little symbol in the background. Same symbol as again. Then the clicky things are back. Hitting quarter notes. They give an emphasis to the the yoink noise. More background elements that are the same, except there's also this weird thing. Yeah, I think that's all I'm gonna go for in this video. Yeah, no, I'm gonna stop it right here. I hope you guys liked watching this. I hope you learned something. I'm sorry if I made a lot of mistakes, and I'm sorry to future me who has to edit all these mistakes. But I made a lot of mistakes on recording this, and I'm not sure if it's gonna stay in the actual cut. I hope you guys liked watching, and I'll see you next time if I come back, which will be soon, I think. Peace, guys.